Welcome to the Holstein Pod, where we bring you our best knowledge on circulating topics in the sports world. I'm Tyler McCoy.
I'm Tyler Petrie.
And guess what? I'm Jordan Ollhoff, known as Ollhoff as well.
And I'm Hoffmister.
And then we also have our behind-the-scenes guys, Brennan, Isaac, and Joey. Okay, so today we have our special guest, Jason Hurth. He's the head coach of the New Holstein High School boys basketball program.
Thanks for having me on.
Now, let's get right into it.
All right, Mr. Hurth, what do you think you can improve on from last season?
Obviously wins. We had 16 wins last year, which was a great season. But we did play some competition that I feel like is definitely improved upon this year. We play our non-conference schedule got much tougher this year. We have Freedom. We picked up Waupun, who was state champs last year. So if we can have that many wins, or if exceed upon those wins this year, it'll be a great season.
How are the numbers looking from last year?
Numbers are average to down a little bit, especially at the younger levels. But we're gonna field 3 teams again, no problem, and it'll be a good season either way. Doesn't matter. We'll play with the people that we have, and like they always say, you only need 5 to. Losing 3 main contributing seniors is a big deal. Starting point guard Bryce Carls is obviously 3-year starting point guard for us. Never really anyone else brought the ball up besides him, so that's a big hole that we do need to fill. Also, Josh Berg, scoring threat that he was, is there'll be a lot of points that need to get picked up elsewhere, but I think that the young guys will be able to handle that. And then Anthony James was a big motivational factor for us. Always, pushed everyone at practice and made sure everyone was accountable for what we needed to do. So, leadership a little bit with those 3 guys gone.
What are the goals for the team this upcoming season?
Just like any other season, you want to go as far as you possibly can in the conference. Winning conference, I think, is definitely attainable, but we have a tough conference. There's some powerhouses in our area that all are thinking the same thing. Valdez will be very good again this year. Falls will be very good. Roncalli, Kiel, Brilliant, Shelton. I mean, everyone wants the same thing. So obviously, a goal is probably conference championship, and then playoffs come, make a deep playoff run.
You kind of brought into the next question, which was, what does the conference look like this year for talent-wise?
It'll be tough. Last year it was tough as well. I think that you can't really take a night off in the EWC. I think that it's extremely tough basketball conference compared to some that are out there. I think we are right in that mix. We definitely can play with anyone in the conference, and there's plenty of talent out there.
Any players to watch in like specific in the conference?
That's not on the Huskies?
Yeah, that's not on the Huskies.
Valdez has a couple guys coming back that are, that were main contributors last year. They have a big center in Luke Gedke that, he holds the paint very well. Kiel has 2 seniors that are main contributors that will be there. Falls has almost their whole rotation back, maybe besides 1. Roncalli is a few main contributors coming back, Corey Bars. So, there's plenty of talent all around, and a lot of teams are bringing a lot of guys back.
Do you guys have any other questions over here?
Yeah, I got one. How's the team looking this year in summer ball?
We played leagues and tournaments. We looked very well. We played summer league at St. Mary Springs. We never had everybody. We won quite a few games, but we never had any of the varsity baseball players. They had games every Wednesday night, so we played very well. Besides not having a lot of the main guys, it gave the young guys a good chance to play some varsity basketball. We also played a tournament in Valdez, which was pretty stock tournament. It had Waupun, it had Lux Casco, Wrightstown, Valdez. I'm trying to think who else. But we ended up winning that tournament, so that was a great showing for us. We played a really good ball that weekend. And then we went down to the Dells and played in Invitational, and we ended up taking second to a very good Darlington team, and that was supposed to be a bunch of the top-ranked teams in the state, I guess, too, but we played very well there as well.
I'm pretty sure that we have something new this year where we're playing at the Crush Center, right? With
Yep.
some big teams there.
Yes. Last year we played at a Thanksgiving tournament at Sheboygan South, and this year we were invited to the Crest Center to play at Christmas. I guess it's not a tournament; it's Christmas games up at the Crest Center. So we ended up playing, got the matchup against Freedom up there, and it's exciting to play in a different venue and see what our boys can do against somebody else in a neutral site. So we're looking forward to that. It should be a pretty exciting day.
All right, that should wrap it up. So.
I have one more.
All right.
So, looking at the numbers this year, you said that they were kind of down or average. So does that mean, do you think, like, sophomores or juniors are going to have to be stepping up on varsity?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna put the best possible players out there, especially for varsity basketball. If whoever is right, then it's gonna help us win games. We're gonna have them up there, but I think we're gonna have to mix and match and shuffle a little bit. There might be people playing both levels, and we'll make the numbers work however we have to try to get the job done on every level.
Speaking of basketball, I think we got to thank Mr. Augustine for his 14 years of coaching.
Yep.
It's come to an end.
Unfortunately, Augie is hanging it up after this year, or before this year. So he's great. It's going to be a big loss without him. He is the brains of the operation when it comes to a lot of things. So yeah, it's going to be a big loss without having Augie on the bench working the refs.
I don't think we have any more questions. That should be it.
Augie needs to be on the telestrator in the pod broadcast.
Yeah, we need to do a segment with him, get him in here.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
that'll blow you away with knowledge, that's for sure.
Hoffy's coming in for Augie, right?
No, there's been nothing at this point. We are still in
I've
searching.
heard rumors. That's about all.
There is a posted freshman position at this point.
I've heard a lot of rumors.
Well, rumors are rumors.
Exactly.
Jordan Ollhoff, possibly.
Rumors.
It is open.
It's
Anyone
open.
can apply for it at this point.
All right. That should be it. Now we're going to a commercial.
Well, wait.
Oh.
Thanks for coming in and having the interview with us.
No problem. You guys doing a great job so far.
Thank you.
There you
So
go.
before we go to our commercial break, we're gonna say our trivia question of the week. Make sure to just tell us your answer on our Twitter, PodcastNH. This question is, which NFL team has the most players in the Hall of Fame? We'll be back after the commercial break. Welcome back to the pod. So, our trivia question. The question was, which NFL team has the most players in the Hall of Fame? The answer to that question was the Chicago Bears. And our winner is Alex Tomey. So Alex Tomey, whenever you can, come talk to one of us and you can claim your prize as free entry to any Holstein Sports event.
And some cheese balls. All right, it's time to talk about the MLB. Tonight we got Game 7 of the World Series. It's going to be lit. Cubs-Indians. The pitching matchup is Kyle Hendricks versus Corey Kluber. What are your guys' thoughts on this series so far, the back-and-forth series?
Cubbies baseball.
No,
That's all I have
no.
to say.
Yep, I agree. Cubs all the way.
I'm a little disappointed in the results of this poll you put on there so far. It's 59-41 in favor of the Cubs right now. Only 17 votes, but I'll tell you what, the key to victory tonight, I think, if Cleveland can jump on him early, Kluber is lights out.
The fans need to be there, too, for Cleveland.
I mean, last night's game, we had the grand slam by Addison Russell, which, I mean, that really takes the other team out. I mean, 4 runs, 1 hit, nothing like just, I mean, it just takes the heart and spirit out of the other team. So, I mean, Cubs coming back from the 3-1 deficit.
Just like the NBA.
It's going to happen.
I'm having a hard time cheering for the Cubs just because I'm a Wisconsin sports fan, but I can certainly appreciate the story that goes along with it. I mean, this has been 108 years.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if there's anybody alive that
No.
has been there for the last, for the.
Actually, I saw something that Game 6, there was one person living from the 1948 Cleveland Indians World Series team, and he was in attendance for that game.
That's awesome.
But they played like trash.
Yeah, hopefully have him back for tonight because that was a pretty pathetic performance last night.
What about Steve Bartman?
That's not
Bartman.
going to happen.
No.
Bartman.
No.
They might invite him,
Yeah.
but
I mean, the thing I was thinking of before, just last week, when we had the series this past weekend in Chicago, that maybe the Cubs could reach out to him and just say, let's close that chapter of blaming you for everything and just get you to throw the first pitch and just kind of like a full circle kind of a moment. But, yeah, Game 7, I don't think anyone's letting them in.
Let's hear some predictions for this Game 7. We'll start with you, Mr. Hoffmeister.
I think that it goes into the 9th at tied. I'm thinking like 3-3, and then Cleveland gets a walk-off hit with 2 outs, hopefully off of Chapman because he's overused. I don't know if the Cubs will have Chapman in tied though in the 9th, but how can you not have your best pitcher, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, this is the last game for everybody. You're going to throw everybody out there, your best guys.
So I think 4-3 Cleveland tonight. I
On
think
the
Kluber
Ollhoff.
gets about 8 strikeouts tonight. Put that on the board too. 8 Ks for Kluber.
8 Ks? All right.
All right, so I'll go with my bold prediction. I'm going to go Cubs. Cubs win. Wrigleyville is going to be lit tonight. 5-4 Chicago. That is my final. It kind of reminds me of the NBA Finals in a way this year. There was most of the games, if I remember right, in the NBA Finals were kind of blowouts, with the occasional 1 or 2 games that were close. And if I remember, Game 7 with the Warriors and Cavs were close. I think that's what it's going to be tonight. Close game, but the team that's down 3-1, just like in the NBA Finals, comes back, wins it all. Cubbies.
My
McCoy?
prediction, Cubbies, they're just going to come out, dominate right from the beginning, end up winning the game 6-0.
Ooh. Wow.
My prediction is the Tribe comes out with some fire, and the final score is going to be 5-1 Cleveland. 2 home runs by Cleveland, which will be 1 by Santana and 1 by Lindor.
I'm going to say, you can add with my prediction. After the game, a meteor will strike planet Earth, and the world will end at that point.
Curse of the
Cubs
Billy Goat.
win.
I don't know
It's
if
over.
that's possible.
Let's talk. Okay.
Very real.
Speaking of that, because there's curses surrounding these teams. Reasons. 2 of them haven't won the World Series in combined over 180 years. Something crazy. So, first we're gonna talk about the curse of the Cubs.
How long has it been?
108 years, right?
Yep, for the Cubs. Okay, so the curse of the Billy Goat. It's the name of the curse that was supposedly placed on the Chicago Cubs in 1945 by Billy Goat Tavern owner William Sinassis. Because of the odor of his pet goat Murphy was bothering other fans, Sinassis was asked to leave Wrigley Field. And as he was asked to leave, he shouted back at their direction, "Them Cubs, they ain't gonna win no more." And ever since he said that, they have not won another World Series.
And it's going to stay true tonight. Yes.
I mean,
Challenge.
No. Get out of here.
Cubbies.
that superstitious stuff is just crazy with sports. I mean, do you guys believe in the superstitious with sports?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yep, I do.
Absolutely. I watched. I remember when the Boston Red Sox when they won in 2004 for the first time in 86 years. The year before, in 03, they were poised to go to the World Series. They were within like an out or two, and Tim Wakefield, knuckleball pitcher, throws one in there, and Aaron Boone hits it out. Ball game, Yankees win.
Was it at
That was-
Boston?
and Boone got a
It
new-
was in New York.
Yeah, and Boone got a new nickname in Boston that we can't say here.
Aaron bleeping Boone.
Yes.
You guys think if Chicago loses tonight, you think there'll be riots in Chicago?
There would be riots.
There'll be riots either way.
Well,
Won't there be?
Chicago
It seems like that.
will lose its collective mind if they win. I actually heard, I can't remember who it was, but I did hear somebody say, well, are you going to be able to handle yourself if Chicago wins? Are you gonna handle? Well, if Chicago loses, if they lose, are you gonna be able to move on or go on? Said, well, yeah, I've been dealing with the Cubs losing for years. If they win, I don't know what else there is to live for.
Right, that's what united everybody, just being a team of losers, or in a way. So, yeah, now it's like you have this thing, and I don't know what to do with my hands, kind of like with Talladega Nights.
Is there a curse for the Indians too?
Yes,
over there.
there's 2 curses and 1 fact. So one of the curses is the curse of Rocky Colavito. He was traded in 1960 to the Indians, and the Indians have not won a World Series since. Many people think that because of this trade, he placed a curse on the Indians, but many people say that, or he came out to say that he never would do such a thing, never placed anything on it, but many people believe ever since that trade that when he was leaving the locker room, he placed a curse. So, I don't know. That's
Never heard of that one.
I know. I was
Never
just
heard
reading it
that.
up today, and the other one is the curse of Chief Wahoo.
I've heard this one. I've heard this.
Since the Indians symbol first appeared on the uniform in 1951, they have not won a World Series, and many people look at this. It's a symbol of a Native American, and many people look at it as it disrespects Native Americans, and now people are starting to believe that it was cursed. It cursed the Indians that they used the symbol, and that they're never going to win again until it is removed. And the final fact, that isn't a curse, but it's kind of to the Indians, is that there were 2 ties in the NFL this year, which has not happened since 1997, when the Indians lost in Game 7 to the Marlins.
That's all trash.
Hey, Cheeks, you know another
That's what
fun
happens
fact
since.
about the '97 Marlins? You know who scored the winning run in that World Series?
Craig Counsell,
Milwaukee
the
Brewers
Brewers
manager.
manager, legend. Well, what was that guy's name? It was in the playoffs. The grounder to the first baseman, and it went right in between his legs.
The Boston guy?
Yeah, what if that would happen this year? That would be funny if that would happen to the Cubs. That would be great. 9th inning, 2 outs, person on third, ground ball right through him. That'd be awesome.
You know, you asked before about all this supernatural stuff and effect on sports. I absolutely believe it. There's definitely a culture around teams that if they win, they're always going to win. I mean, look at the Yankees. How many world championships do they have? 27?
Yeah.
It's a culture. If you win, you're always going to win. If you always seem to find a way to lose, you find a way to lose in weird ways possible. And it just seems to follow teams for
Right.
whatever reason.
I mean, just one of those things where if you're in that kind of situation, if you're in the lead, you're thinking, what's next? How do we lose this one? You don't think of how you're going to win the game. You just think, how are we going to lose it? How do we blow it this time? And it's the same thing for the fans. Feel the same way.
But then Chicago had Harry Carey, the epic announcer, who somebody brought out a quote of his, sure as there's green apples, the Chicago Cubs will be in the World Series one day. Harry's dead and gone now. I think he died in
98, I think it was, 97, 98.
Okay. Right around when Sammy Sosa was there yet.
Yep.
And here they are.
Yeah.
One last thing. We should get some World Series MVP predictions going for this series. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say Corey Kluber if he wins this game tonight. He's been pitching great.
If he gets the win, absolutely.
Oh,
That'd be
yeah.
3
Yep.
wins, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 3 wins.
I mean, I've been paying attention. I haven't really been noticing too many standout players. I feel like it'll definitely be hard to pick an MVP if, say, the Cubs win, because they've been playing more as a team than anything. Where if the Indians win, I'm sure it'll go with Kluber.
What about you over there, Mr. Ollhoff?
I think Rizzo.
Rizzo has his.
He's gonna pull it out again tonight. He's gonna win. He's gonna get him to
First
win.
the
He's gonna be
Cubs gotta
Rizzo.
win.
Cubbies.
I'm
They're
gonna
gonna win
challenge
big
that. I'm
Huge,
challenging
big league,
that.
huge.
What about you over there, Mr. Hoffmeister?
I'm kind of in the same boat. If the Cubs win, I would say Rizzo. And if the Indians win and Kluber gets the win, how do you not say it's him?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I agree.
I think it's time to move on.
Up next, the NFL. So, quick recap of last week. Probably the best game. Falcons beating the Packers by 1.
That's right.
Saints beat the Seahawks by 5. Cowboys beat the Eagles in overtime, and the Bears take down the Vikings.
Yes.
Don't forget about Kansas City taking down the Colts 30-16 with their backup quarterback in for
Nobody
the majority
cares
of the game.
about the Chiefs.
Hey, you know what
Yeah.
else was really awesome? The Dolphins didn't lose.
Yeah.
They had their bye week, but they didn't lose.
Right, they didn't lose. They didn't win, but guess what? They didn't lose.
I think that's something the Browns need too. Did you guys see it? I don't know if anyone listening or if any of you guys saw, but the Browns had in their end zone they had the fans holding up the banners, and it said like welcome to the dog pound or something, and they had them arranged in the wrong way, so it just wasn't spelt out right.
It was like dog well, and then you
Yeah.
had
Here, I'll look it up. I'll post
Yeah.
it on the Twitter.
On the Twitter.
On the Twitter.
But anyway,
Tweeter.
this upcoming week we have an NFC North matchup between the Lions and Vikings. We also got the Colts and the Packers, Bills Seahawks Monday Night Football, Steelers Ravens, and Kansas City Jacksonville. And also the Raiders and Broncos, which is probably the biggest game, I'd say, because they're both first place in the AFC West, but they got Kansas City coming for them in the next 2 weeks.
I know, Cheeks, you're probably not going to be much of a Raiders fan, but
I'm not.
they are definitely a surprise this year. What's their record? 6-2.
Yep,
Called it. Knew that they were
You
coming
know.
this year.
he did say that, but they're not. They're gonna choke. So, I mean, I feel like the Lions will take another victory on the Vikings, the way the Vikings have been playing, and sadly, the Packers will take the division lead. I feel in 2 weeks.
Here's a request. Can we get Buffett on here to talk about the Vikings?
Yeah, especially the big news today.
Is
Did
he
you see?
listening today?
Yeah, did you
What
see
was the news
the
today?
big news today for the Vikings? I saw this afternoon. You had Norv Turner, their offensive coordinator, resigned.
What?
So
Oh,
for the
really?
Vikings, that is the news. He resigned. I think I saw it around lunchtime today that he resigned. So their offensive line is terrible. That's been something that's been proven all year. But the downturn in the last 2 weeks with Philadelphia and now Chicago for the Vikings apparently got Norv Turner to say, you know what, I'm out. Peace out. Resign and figure out the offense on your own.
They
Jeez.
do have a good defense, though. So.
Yeah. The defense have been keeping them in games, for sure.
Yeah, need to be able to score points, though. I think maybe like the Packers when they played the Broncos last year. Broncos exposed us, and that was everybody followed the Broncos game plan the rest of the season to be able to stop us. Maybe Philadelphia found something a couple weeks back, and now it's the defensive game plan for everybody, and now the Vikings, who are the hot team, might drop down.
Did anyone else see that? I don't know if this was fake or not. I didn't have time to look. Big Ben might be back this week from whatever he had for an injury, because I need him for fantasy. I need him back, because I've been on a losing streak lately, and it's not good. I need to win.
Yeah, I've been on a winning streak.
Yeah, I get that. Did you guys see anything about that?
I did not, but
Me either. Look it up.
he's not on any of my teams this year, so I didn't really.
Exactly, same here.
You know, Rodgers has been kind of disappointing this year so far for fantasy football, so I've been kind of in that boat. He and I got Andrew Luck on one of my teams. He's starting to have a few nice weeks in a row here, but now I got them going against each other. So
That first week he
What do
went
I do?
off with like 30-something.
Yeah, NFL.com says Roethlisberger has a chance to play, but it's very doubtful.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a chance.
We do have some injury news in the NFL. I'm sad to report that Jamal Charles will be out the rest of the year with another knee injury, which has to be 3 years in a row now.
Stop.
And I feel like his time in KC might be over.
Get him out of here. Bye, Felicia. He's
they're
done.
going to have to get Miles Davis back. I mean, the Packers released him, didn't they?
That was so stupid,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, he was going to go with the Jets. I think the Jets maybe signed him for an hour. There's something crazy last night. And then the Jets got rid of him, and I think they picked up C.J. Spiller. So he's out there, so he can go back to the Chiefs. They might need him.
Also, Alex Smith will be out this week, Sunday, with a concussion. And Nick Foles will be starting.
I mean, that's a good, experienced quarterback coming in, so I, mean,
I like him as a
shouldn't be
backup.
anything bad.
Yeah, you got Andy Reid as your coach. You had him back in Philly. They were both together, so I think this works.
Anyone know about LaShawn McCoy? Is he
Plus for Bills.
rearing
right?
to go?
I think he's active. I think he was active last week,
No,
right?
he didn't play last week.
No, he was out last week. Yeah, I haven't seen anything because he's on my fantasy team. I have running back by committee there. I have Eddie Lacy. He got out. I had McCoy. And I had the running back from 49ers. They were all hurt here. So I think he might have a chance to be back this week. But I know they got Percy Harvin in Buffalo. He came back out of retirement.
Yeah, out of retirement.
So they have a new weapon potentially again to get back on track.
We should give a standings update, I feel like, since we're halfway through the season. The NFC's best record would be Dallas, if I'm correct.
Yeah, 6-1 for Dallas, and then they have the Vikings at 5-2, Seahawks at 4-2-1. Falcons at 5-3, and then AFC they got the Patriots 7-1, Raiders 6-2, Broncos 6-2, Chiefs 5-2. I mean, it might be a little early in the season, but what are you guys' picks for Super Bowl as of right now?
Gosh.
Let's write them down on the board. See how far close we get.
You start, Mr. Hoffmeister.
All right. Out of the AFC, I don't see anybody that's going to touch New England this year. So New England out of the AFC, maybe Oakland could make a surprise run, but consistency, I don't see anybody that's going to touch them. Out of the NFC, I am going to rue the day I ever did this, but I think the Dallas Cowboys.
Challenge.
Pats versus Cowboys. I hate that I just did that, but
They are America's team.
That's
I'd
true.
love to see Green Bay. I just don't buy it yet. Their offense is just not clicking enough.
They're not going to make the playoffs.
Challenge.
Wow. Bold prediction.
Bold prediction.
Although Dallas does have a late season history of folding, so I got to be
Yeah,
careful
but
with that.
that's only with Tony Romo.
They're going to put him back in.
They got Dak now.
Cubs can be on the verge of winning the World Series. The Dallas Cowboys can make a run.
Who do you think's going to win between that matchup?
In that matchup, I would pick New England. Probably like a 34-17 type game.
Next up, we got Ollhoff.
All right, so I'm going to agree on the AFC side of things. I'm going to go with the Pats. I can see the AFC Championship game being the Pats against Pittsburgh. I think that would be a heck of a game to see there. The Pats' offense is pretty solid. It'd be interesting to see Pittsburgh's offense there, guns a-blazing. So I could see that as the AFC Championship game. I think that would be a really excellent matchup, believe me. NFC side, I see Jerry Jones. He just can't make up his mind. He controls the team. He's going to get Tony Romo one more ride into the sunset. So guess what? Cowboys, they're done. Garbage, get wrecked. So they might make the playoffs, but Tony Romo is going to be going down. I'm going to go, seriously, we wouldn't expect anything less, would you? Homer pick, Packers.
Get out of
They weren't terribly impressive in 2010 at this point. They had a bunch of injuries at that point. They hung around. All you have to do is get into the big dance, make the playoffs. It doesn't matter if they win the division, if they're in a wild card spot. We've had young guys step up just this past week, and I think we're starting to see offensively the ship starting to turn the right direction. The Bears, obviously easy opponent. Atlanta, I think you have a division-leading team. Our offense played well. We had Geronimo, what's his last name? I can't even remember. You have all these young guys stepping up. I think the Packers get hot at the end. It's Packers, Patriots, finally. The meeting of the minds.
It was Geronimo Allen. That's what Joey Gable is saying over there. Is that correct? What was it?
I think, yes.
Geronimo Allen is the player or whatever?
Someone fact check that, but
What
that
is it over
sounds
there,
totally
Colin?
lit.
But
What?
if
Say it.
Jones
Say
does,
it.
Say it.
Allison.
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 if Jones does give Romo another chance, you're right. The Cowboys are done.
Yeah.
I hope he's not that dumb, but maybe.
Yeah,
would-
he's not letting him go. So I think in a couple weeks, maybe Thanksgiving, get Tony Romo back. You're going to put him in. But I think, gosh, and then I'm going to go with the win. You got to go with the Pack. Come on, you kidding me?
Get out of here.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, my
What do you expect anything less? They're going to get hot last couple games. Watch out, Pack.
My prediction for the Super Bowl. This is going to be very offset. For the AFC sides, I'm going to have the Raiders
Get out of here.
Solid choice.
coming out of nowhere. On the
Where-
NFC side, I mean, the Vikings coming back strong.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, the Raiders.
Do you have
against
the Raiders
Vikings.
winning the division or wild card?
The division. I have both of them winning the
Imagine
division,
If the Cubs.
and I have the Raiders winning it all.
Oh, okay, good. I was wondering. I don't think we can handle the Cubs winning the World Series and the Vikings winning.
I'd
the
like
Super
to make
Bowl
a very
this year.
bold prediction, though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Chicago is gonna come out and make the wild card over Green Bay.
What do they have to do that at this point? What's their record? They have 1 win. Oh, no, I have 2 wins now.
2-6.
2-6.
All right.
They're going on a winning streak.
I was going to say, just saw a stat here. I mean, there could be some of these teams that are low, but saw a tweet here that Houston, Kansas City, Washington were 3-5 last year at this point. Seattle and Pittsburgh were 4-4 halfway. All of those teams made the playoffs, so there could be some teams that play well. They can make a big run into the playoffs.
Yes, Kansas City did go on a 10-game winning streak.
Yep, so somebody might be on that right now.
Except for the Cleveland Browns, I think they're hopeless this year.
All right, my prediction is going to be the NFC. I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys. They look at the best team out there. They look solid if they keep Dak Prescott in. And in the AFC, I got to go with Kansas City. I have to. They are not going to lose a game the rest of the season. They're going to go. Because if you look at their schedule, their hardest game is the Broncos. Twice. They got to play them twice. They can handle them. I feel like it because we're getting Justin Houston back. He's the legend.
Challenge flag has been thrown.
And I'm going to have to go with the bold prediction, and Kansas City wins it all.
No.
They'd have to be able to win a playoff game first. They hardly
can.
ever do that.
They returned a
can?
kick to start the playoff game last
Well,
year.
let's be honest. They gotta make the playoffs first.
Yeah, that too.
You think they're going to make the playoffs, though? They're going to.
No.
Yes.
That's the best division in the NFL, unfortunately. They're going to finish third. They might have a winning record, but they're going to finish
Write
third.
your thing down.
Whatever.
We're moving on. So, we're going to have a little quick recap of men's NCAA football. First, we have the Badgers take down Nebraska in overtime. Huge win for Wisconsin. Having Nebraska come into town, taking them down. Just a huge win after getting the 2 big losses from Ohio State and Michigan. So right now, pretty sure they're ranked at 8, which is the highest they've ever been ranked for the college football playoff, which is showing just great, coming in, especially from last year, just a great improvement on how everything looks. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I feel Nebraska should be farther back. They're not that good of a team.
'Cause I know-
They're a pretty good team.
They're not that good.
Because I know in the coaches poll, I didn't see it there for the playoff poll. The coaches poll, they were just 1 spot behind us. That was released on Monday. Nebraska was.
That's
So I don't know about
that's the AP poll, too.
Yeah. So I don't know in terms of the college football playoff poll if that is the same thing, that they're just 1 spot behind the Badgers. I didn't see that. I just saw the Badgers ranked and then the top 4, which was an interesting top 4 at least one of the positions.
I say they should be 10, not 8.
Playoff ranking, Nebraska is 10. Wisconsin's 8.
Oh, so I am right.
I mean,
So-
Nebraska gave Wisconsin a pretty good run, and Wisconsin also gave Michigan and Ohio State a pretty good run. So, I mean, Nebraska's got to be a pretty good team if they can give Wisconsin a run for their money.
Did the Badgers clinch their side of the Big Ten? Because it's split up now, right?
Right.
I don't think
No.
they clinched. I think Nebraska's ahead of them yet by a game, aren't they?
Yeah,
Oh, I
it
thought-
is. So we control our own destiny from here on out. So we have to cheer for Ohio State this week on Saturday night, and we have to win out, and then we'll be able to have that tiebreaker. So I think that's how that works out.
And then we'd either play Ohio State or Michigan, right? Because they're on the others. They're in the West. Are we in the West or?
We're in the West.
I'm not so good with college football here, so.
I think in that matchup, I think Michigan wins that matchup this year. I have questions about Ohio State's legitimacy. The last few weeks, the loss to Penn State, they were close again this week, weren't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah, against
won
Northwestern.
by 4. They won by 4.
And maybe it's just a mid-season hang-up, but I don't know. I think playing that close to some lower-level Big Ten teams. Now, Penn State's decent, but they're not like Michigan.
They're turning it on lately, though. 62 points this week against Purdue, I'm pretty sure it was. The Boilermakers, whatever their name is.
Yeah. My concern is the Badgers. This is a trap game this week for them. At Northwestern, 11 o'clock start. For some reason, it seems this happened maybe a couple years ago where we got a big win, and then a week or two later we were at Northwestern, and I think lost. So this is a trap game. We should be able to win out theoretically, but I feel this is a trap game that could haunt us if we play kind of like we have been, where our defense is stout, but our offense just doesn't do anything to pull us away, and it allows Northwestern to stay in the game. That's my concern. So I think we should win out, but I feel Saturday could be a bit more of a closer game than maybe what people would think, especially how Northwestern played at Ohio State last week. They had a chance to win that game, or at least tie it at the end. So we'll see.
We should get some playoff predictions here for college football, I feel like, because that's coming up in 3 weeks.
Yeah, something like that. Do you want to talk about the top four currently, what they got going on?
Yeah, and we'll make our predictions, too.
Yeah, they have Clemson, Alabama,
Michigan.
No, not Michigan.
Michigan's in it.
Yeah, Michigan's too.
Michigan, not Ohio State, though, I don't think.
And the fourth team, I'm pretty sure, is Washington.
No, that was the coaches poll.
They should be in it, though. I like Washington.
No, it's Alabama, Clemson, Michigan, and Texas A&M.
Oh, Texas A&M is
Yeah.
trash. That's just Johnny Manziel City there.
Yeah, that was the controversy.
He
the
probably
other
still
night.
goes to parties with the college kids there.
Yeah, I mean, that was the big controversy the other night. I mean, everything else I think people agreed upon with the rankings, but having Texas A&M as 4, or I think it was just in as 4, right? So having them in was a bit of a controversy, especially with Washington, but I think Kirk Herbstreit was saying that that they shouldn't worry, that they should be able to make it, and they kind of control their destiny. So,
Do you think any team can slip in there this next 3 weeks that you're looking at there?
Well, Louisville's sitting there at 7-1. That might be an outside shot. Who knows with Ohio State? They keep winning, they can get back up in there.
What about
Especially
Bucky?
if they beat Michigan.
I mean, Bucky's got a chance, yeah.
They'd
Big
have to
Ten
give a lot of
championship
help.
game is going to be
They need
huge.
people to lose.
yeah.
They can take down Michigan to get in there. That's going to be the key game.
It's just a matter, I think, of your conference schedule overall, and just, I think, overall strength of schedule, too. I mean, I don't know how open the committee would be to have a team that, if we would win out, has 2 losses in your conference. Now, our Big Ten's a lot better this year, so maybe we can make that argument, but I know in other times that's not the case.
Yeah, because you can argue we got number 2 Michigan, 6 Ohio State, 10 or 8 whatever they are Nebraska, then you got Wisconsin, Penn State 24. It's a loaded Big Ten.
Indeed.
Yeah. And I just found the statistics for the Big Ten West. Wisconsin's in 3rd right now, behind Minnesota and Nebraska.
Minnesota's ahead of them.
Yeah, well, Wisconsin and Minnesota are tied right now, 6-2 or 3-2 in the conference. Nebraska's 4-1 in the conference, with the one loss being the Badgers.
I'm pretty sure we do play Minnesota, right?
Yeah, last game of the season.
Yep.
So it could come down to that.
I
The
feel
battle for the axe.
That's right. We're going to keep it
Yeah.
like the last, how many years? 15? Something like
True.
that?
we can shove it in Buffton's face too, because I'm pretty sure he's a Gophers fan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to start out the playoff predictions for the NCAAF. And I'm going to have number 1 is Alabama firm. They look like a solid team. Number 2 is going to be Clemson. 3 will be Louisville. It's going to sneak in there because someone's going to lose. And 4 is going to be Washington. That's my prediction.
I think it's going to be 1 Alabama, 2 Clemson, 3 Louisville, and 4 Michigan.
So someone fact check. Is Clemson and Louisville, are they in the same conference?
I'll check.
My internet's not working.
Maybe.
Now, so I can't check.
Are they both in the, I think they're both in the ACC, right?
Yep.
So I don't know if they would be apt to having, I know they did that with the SEC, the first year with the playoff that they had 2. I don't know if they'll do that again. It seems like they would only do that with the SEC teams. So yeah, I'll agree with everyone so far, at least with number 1 at Alabama. 2, I can see going to Michigan possibly. 3, Louisville. And then 4, I think, will be Washington. So a little bit of change up from everybody so far.
All right, let's get into some college basketball.
Hoff?
Yeah, what about Hoffy here? Hello.
Oh,
Challenge.
You stop. I'll take care of that.
I gotta go Alabama 1. I can't stand them, but I There's
Yeah.
nobody that's going to touch him this year. Clemson seems to be legit again. Worry about them in a tight game, but Clemson 2. I'll go Washington 3 and Ohio State 4.
Get
I'm
out
gonna
of here.
sneak
No,
back
get
in
the
there.
Buckeyes out of here.
Bold.
That is trash. We're getting
Bold.
looks from the audience over there. Well, you can call them the audience, I guess.
Next up, we're gonna talk about,
Fandemonium.
we're gonna talk about local sports from the New Holstein area. First up, we got the high school football playoffs. This Friday, we have a big level 3 matchup for the Eastern Wisconsin Conference. Kiel is at Two Rivers for this game. Kiel just got done upsetting the number 1 seed Eastern Wisconsin champions Sheboygan Falls last week, winning 10-7 in a last-minute field goal. And Two Rivers dominated their game against the University School of Milwaukee, winning 44-7. Who do you think is going to win this big matchup?
I'm going to have to say Two Rivers. Keel's not having enough to do it. Because aren't they out, their best running backs out or whatever?
Yeah, well,
Kingbaum?
Michael Entry stepped in now. He's not bad at all.
He's
been
not
playing.
bad. Yeah,
he's been playing really
solid.
good.
He's solid. What are your thoughts over there, Mr. Hoffmeister?
I think Two Rivers gets this one done. I would say they win by 2 scores. It may be like a. I'm gonna have to do quick math here for a second, like a 28-14 game or something like that.
Yeah, I think it'll be Two Rivers as well. I mean, you can make an argument, I think, for Kiel, potentially. I mean, getting on a little bit of a run. Got lucked into getting into the playoffs with everything, how that the season played out, but they are playing with house money, beat the top team, top seed. Maybe they have more of a chance than what I would think, but I think I'll stick with Two Rivers.
We also have Kimberly Fond du Lac. Does Kimberly's streak end this Friday?
No.
No.
I'm
No,
gonna
not
say
a
it
chance.
does. I feel Fond du Lac can upset him. I'm serious.
Put a score on it. What's the bold prediction
I'm
for the
gonna
score
cheer
then?
for my cousin on Fond du Lac because I don't like Kimberly. So
Well, I would rather see Fond du Lac win too, but they're not going to. I don't think.
they're gonna trust me. Believe me.
I mean,
Believe me.
going back to that Kiel
Believe
Two
me.
Rivers game, I definitely think Two Rivers is going to have just a little bit extra stamina because, I mean, winning 44-7, you can definitely put in your backups soon to where Kiel had to play their starters the entire game. So they're going to be a little more bumped up and bruised compared to Two Rivers. Next,
Should we go to volleyball?
next up,
Do we have
the
anything?
volleyball playoff. We have Chilton was eliminated last Thursday by losing to Little Chute in 3 straight games, which sucks. Definitely thought we were gonna have an EWC go to state, but run ended short.
I mean, you start getting in Division II, Little Chute's I don't pretend to know anything about volleyball programs here, but
Right.
Little Chute's a decent-sized school, so I imagine they have pretty good athletes, and that conference has traditionally been pretty tough. I think Little Chute and I think Xavier's in there, right?
Yep.
FEL. Tough league. So not that the EWC is not tough, but I think this is a step up.
Yeah.
So,
And it's kind of interesting, at least for me, looking at that. I know I was a long-term sub in Little Chute at the Catholic school there, and I think some of the kids that were 8th graders that graduated that year from the middle school, I think went to Little Chute High School. They had kind of an option to go to there or Xavier. So I think some of the former students that I had there could be on the volleyball team. So that's kind of a nice little connection anyway. So see how that plays out. Do you have your bracket Hoffy with volleyball updated? How's that going?
That in my room. I started after like the 3rd round. I was doing pretty good yet, but then I think out of the last 8 teams, I had 3. So it went downhill in a hurry. But it was the first round. I think maybe out of the whole bracket, I had like 4 on,
That's pretty good.
4 or 5.
Is it better than your March Madness bracket usually?
Yes. One year I did hit all 4 Final Four teams, but hasn't been close since. So
I did get a complaint from a person at school that we did not talk about the Palms team last week, and they
Go
told
Palms.
me to shout them out. They
The
told me
Holstein
that their
Palms squad.
their regional is January 28th, and they have 2 competitions before that. That's what they told me. So
Hey, got members of the Fandemonium that are a part of the Palm Squad.
Absolutely, gotta
Thank
give
you.
them a shout out.
Yeah, shout out.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes, and if you, I don't know, I think there's a spot for them if they want to come and talk about anything on the pod.
Make a return to the Palms is going to return to state this year. I don't know. I mean, that's what they're going for, and I think they have a good shot to do it. They have a good crew. They have a good set of coaches, and why not go get it done?
We did forget to talk about one subject, which would be the NBA.
Oh, here we go.
We could close on that, I feel. So, last night's game, Warriors, Blazers. It's a close game at halftime. Curry just goes off. 23 and a quarter. That's crazy. Crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Curry's all about being crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of par for the course for him. I mean,
But he
he'll
is
get that.
arrogant, which
Of course he is.
the
He's a
stupid
young
mouth
star.
guard. The mouth
Yeah.
guard needs to leave. But
Oh,
They're still making the playoffs, though.
Yeah.
They'll make it easily. No questions, right, Cheeks?
I'm
They're
thinking
making it.
I'm thinking a repeat for the finals this year.
Oh, I like
no,
that's
no,
bold.
No,
Do it.
No.
Bucks
What-
missed the
what
playoffs
the Bu-
completely.
Yeah, Bucks aren't
Sleeper
gonna make
pick
it.
in the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That's not really a sleeper.
No.
You know who's going to be a surprise, I think? Utah Jazz this year.
You got a point there.
That would be a sleeper.
A sleeper in the East would obviously be the Milwaukee Bucks.
No, they're not going to
no.
miss the playoffs
Missed
completely.
the playoffs.
No, they are 500 right now.
Missed the playoffs.
They're gonna sneak in there.
Stop.
Six
No,
seed.
you're done.
No,
No.
Six
done.
seed. They're gonna face the Boston Celtics. Take down the Celtics. So Brennan is salty on school.
Your mic's going to get cut pretty soon.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Come on, honestly,
are done.
can you
Get
give
him
the
outta here.
Bucks
Get,
respect?
just
Can
get
you
out
give
of
the
here.
Bucks
No.
respect? Are you kidding me?
No.
We have the Greek Freak. Plus, my prediction was pretty close.
We're sorry, Cheeks. It's not happening.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Cheeks, who wins the season series between the Bucks and the Bulls?
Bucks.
Bulls.
Bucks.
Bulls.
Bucks.
How many times did they play? 4?
4.
I say 3-1 Bulls.
We actually are trying to
Wait.
get a group together. Me and Buffson are trying to get this together. To get a group to go to the last game. Bucks Bulls, BMO Harris Bradley Center.
Oh, better get my Bulls jersey.
Possibly could be playoff implications there.
The Bucks will be 38 and whatever, and
Oh my god.
the Bulls will be
Yeah, the Bulls will be.
62 and
Yeah, it'll be 2 seed. The only playoff implication that game will have will be the seeding for the Bulls. Bucks aren't even going to be anywhere. Don't even come back with me,
Truth.
Cheeks. It's done.
Hashtag truth.
Done.
the
What are
Bucks
you-
could get in the playoffs in the East with 38 wins, though.
Unfortunately, but yeah, they'll lose to the Cavs. It'll be a 4-1 series, if that.
Record projection 42 and 40. 42 and 40. 42 and 40.
That might be enough to get them the 6th seed in the East.
That's true. That's true.
Truth.
Now we gotta talk about Derrick Rose and his super team he calls the NY Knicks.
Garbage.
Did
No.
you see that game last night? Joakim Noah took a jump shot and just completely airballed it. That was the saddest thing I've ever seen. Like, honestly, you're in the NBA. You should be able to make that.
Yeah, I saw that. I couldn't believe that at all.
Well, that's like LeBron and the Cavs. He airballed a free throw yesterday and a layup. Talking about the greatest player in the world, airball and layups.
In the
I
same
mean,
game, yeah.
Yeah, twice in the same game. I don't know if he was just having an off day or.
He was probably thinking about the Indians getting their butt kicked that night.
Yeah, true.
Also, the Knicks, that same game, a player went up for a layup, lost complete control of the ball. The ball flies over the backboard into the crowd. That's a super team, all
Just
right.
lost the handle on the way up? Or?
Yeah, it went
I didn't see
it,
it.
something like that. I didn't see the whole thing, but yeah, they had a bad game. They lost. They're
And-
now 1-2, I think.
Surprise, surprise. The Philadelphia 76ers, 0-3.
They did give up a fight against the Thunder, though, which was a good game to watch, surprisingly.
Except for that one fan that was giving Westbrook a hard time.
Yeah.
That didn't go. That was an interesting moment. That
He
was.
was telling him he was number 1. wasn't
Yeah,
he?
I think
Yeah.
with two different
I think he
fingers
gave
with
him
the
the
one finger
bird.
salute.
Yeah.
Usually not birds in a NBA stadium.
No, I've seen bats before in NBA
Wasn't
arenas,
that in
but
London?
I don't know if it was in London.
I know there was a fire started in London that one time they had to evacuate the stadium. That's the weirdest thing, but yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we're gonna have for today. Special thanks to the guys behind the camera, Joey, Isaac, and Brennan. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at PodcastNH.
You can't forget about Mr. Hirth either for taking his
Yeah.
time
Yeah,
out.
Mr.
big
Hurd
shout,
coming
big
in.
thank you.
Also join us next week at nhradio.caster.fm or nfhsnetwork.com. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Holstein Sports Podcast.
Beats by Esco.